morning, crocheters. It's Karen Whooley, and it has been a hot minute, hasn't it, since I have been here doing a podcast. And first of all, I want to apologize. There's been some things going on behind the scenes, a lot behind the scenes, but I have really had to focus on my book. And so I had to get all the patterns done. I had to get them all blocked. I had to get them all ready for shipping. And since there's 31 patterns in this book, that's a lot of work to do. Just tagging, bagging, and getting them in the shipping box took me over 3 hours on Saturday to get it done. And that wasn't even everything, because I also had to send, along with the projects for the book, the free pattern for 2025 for my newsletter subscribers. So if you have not subscribed to my newsletter, now is a good time to do that, because you'll get this year's free pattern, which is Crimson Nights, and on January 1st you'll get the 2025 pattern, free pattern of the year. So Crimson Nights will become a paid pattern, and this new pattern I'm calling right now Quantum Leap will be released on January 1st, and anybody who's already subscribed will immediately get a newsletter saying here's how to download that pattern. So get ready to do that. So behind the scenes, I have been a crazy woman trying to get this stuff done. I'm really excited that the photographer is going to be doing all the photography for the book in November. So this is like coming up. So she's going to actually get the box, I think, on Monday. I just saw that the box was shipped yesterday, but they had a trailer, I guess, somewhere. They couldn't get it dispatched, so it's going to be a day late. So instead of Friday, she's getting it Monday, I guess. But that's neither here nor there. It's just done. At least that part of it's done. So now all I have to do is write the interior text of the book, which is the educational part of it, and explaining a few things. And I'm going to be doing some video that goes along with the book, so stay tuned. But on top of that, you guys are getting the first announcement. There's a few people who already know this, but I am going to be having shoulder surgery in, I don't know, I'm hoping November, might be December. It's kind of a funny story. Back in, and goes back a ways, back in 1994, I was working for a computer company, and we did software and hardware for dental offices. And I used to troubleshoot the computers. I used to write software. And a lot of times back then, the customers, if they were really having a hardware problem, they would ship the computers to our company. And then we were in charge of tearing them apart, fixing the problem inside, and putting it back together and shipping it back to the customer. So one of my customers, I don't even remember where, but we had customers all over the United States, in Canada, and I'm trying to think if we had some in Mexico. I cannot remember, but it was in North America anyway, for sure. And so one of my customers sent remember the big old towers, the big ones, to the company for me, to fix. And somehow, and I can't remember the whole thing that happened, but I picked up the computer and wrenched my left shoulder, and ended up in physical therapy for almost a year. And then finally they decided the physical therapy wasn't working on it. I had an impingement in my rotator cuff. I needed to have some bone spurs taken out. So I was going to have surgery in November of 1995. And the night before the surgery, my surgeon called me and said, your blood work says you're pregnant. And that was my son. We had already had a miscarriage prior to my getting pregnant with my son. And I had basically said, let's stop trying until I get the shoulder surgery done. Well, of course, I'm not going to not have my baby. So we canceled surgery, had my son. The rest is history. If those of you who are moms know what happens when you have kids, you put yourself aside for a while. And fast forward to 2020, we moved from the west side of Washington State to the east side, And in that move, my shoulder started bugging me. So in late 2020, I started seeing a surgeon here about my shoulder, and he definitely said we need an MRI because it's been so many years. We don't know if it's still the impingement, if there's more going on. So in late December of 2020, I had the MRI, and then in the first week in January, before the appointment with the surgeon, I was diagnosed with bladder cancer. So we had to put the surgery off again. So fast forward to early October, I went back to the surgeon just to see, because I've been waking up with this whole side locked up, and he did an MRI, and sure enough, it's not that much worse, but there's a lot more going on with arthritis and stuff. So we're just waiting for the insurance hoops to, you know what it is, you know how insurance can be. So we're just waiting for those hoops to finish, and then I'll have my surgery scheduled. And I'm hoping to get it done before the end of the year. I'm really kind of hoping to get it done in November, but I have a feeling it's going to go into December with how long it's taking the insurance to process. So what that means is that for 2 months minimum, because I'll be in a sling for 2 months, I won't be able to crochet. So I have been a crazy woman trying to get everything I can possibly get done that I need to get done through like March of 2025. And so that's why I've been kind of behind the scenes going, I really need to make a podcast video, but that's where I'm at right now. I'm probably going to be announcing it next week in my newsletter with more details about what to expect from me coming forward. But the cool thing is I should still be able to type. Because of the way the sling will be hitting, I could probably get my laptop on my legs and I could type. So I can still do some of that part of the book, and still do newsletters, and I could actually probably design some patterns. I just can't swatch or crochet up anything to finalize those until I have an arm. But I do have some stitchers who are waiting in the wings. So if something works out well, even if I don't have a swatch, I might be sending them stuff to do. So if you're watching one of my stitchers, just know I haven't forgotten about you. You guys, you'll probably get a newsletter from me in a few days or a week or so. Anyway, so that's what's been going on. I have been doing some things behind the scenes, project-wise, just because, I've told you before, when I'm watching football, the only thing I can do is knit socks, and I did finish a new pair of socks. These are from, I should have put them on a blocker, but these are from, the yarn is from, Two Sisters. Two Sisters does these wonderful, wonderful self-striping yarns, and then they sell the coordinating minis for the toes and the heels and stuff. So this is her Cool Beans colorway, the stripe, and I think it's bright fuchsia is the heels on the cuff and the toe. And so those are done. Those are ready. I finished those on Sunday, actually. So these are done. I'm going to start a new pair of socks. I probably won't get to knit on them and finish them. Well, it depends on when surgery is scheduled. But I'll probably start them this weekend watching football. And then whenever they're done, they're done. I will just choose the yarn. I have an idea of what I want to use, but it might be something else in my stash that I might pull instead of the one I'm thinking of. So I'll be casting on another pair of knit socks. Now, for those of you who haven't been watching for very long, when I'm watching football, I get so stressed. I cannot crochet at all, not even crocheted socks. I cannot do any crochet because my stitches get so tight I end up ripping out everything that I work on. And for knitting, I can't knit on anything but socks because I'm a tight sock knitter, and it doesn't affect my gauge for some reason when I'm making socks. So football season rolls around, that's when I am in full knit mode for making socks. So even though I'm a crochet designer, I love to knit socks. I love to crochet socks too, but I cannot do it during football season. So this is what happens when I am in football mode. So this one's done, so stay tuned. The other thing I want to show you is I have a project that I'm working on for my grandson, and it's really cute because one of my daughter's good friends is a photographer. She's the one who did all my photography for my website. Back in May, we did a whole photo shoot. She came over to my house. We did the photo shoot in my office of me crocheting, not crocheting, for headshots and stuff like that. And a few weeks after that, she got on the Instagram, and she got into my messages and said, I'm just going to put this picture here because you have a grandson who I think needs this. And this is the pattern. I'm going to show you guys the pattern here. This is called the dinosaur vest. And isn't that just cute? I'm going to show you the back side too. Look at that little guy, little pipsqueak. It is literally made out of a chenille yarn. And it comes in 3 sizes. It comes into this, let me pull them here. There's a size, ooh, my pages are all out of order here. Oh, I put them backwards, that's why. 8, 6, here it is. So there's a 9 to 1.5 years. There's 1.5 to 3 years, and then there's 3 to 5 years. I'm making the 1.5 to 3 years because my grandson is a preemie, and he probably needs a little bit smaller size, even though he's going to be 3. Can you believe it? And now I can't talk today. He's going to be 3 in June. So I figured if I make it the up to 3 years, he'll have a good year in this little vest. But I want to show you the yarn. It's actually from Turkey. I had to order it from Turkey because I tried to look for yarn here and it's all too thick. And it's called Alize Velluto. In Italian, it would be Alize Velluto. And it is their asparagus colorway. It's 100% chenille. But what I really like this chenille, well, I guess it's 100% micro polyester, but it's a chenille yarn. It's a bulky weight. But what I like about this is that I've already used 2 hanks. I had to rip them out because I was making the bigger size and it's way too big. It's just way too big. So I'm making it in the medium size, and it doesn't shed, not even when you cut it. I'm really amazed at how it is. Now I'm going to show you just what I got done, because last night I had it about halfway done, the first part halfway done, and I had to rip it out and do the smaller size. But here is, it worked up. It is so soft. It's no worming. For those of you who don't know what the term worming is, when the stitches, because the chenille is so slick, the stitches start to unravel. I am doing it a little bit tighter. I'm using a smaller hook than what they recommend. She recommends a 12 millimeter, and I'm using an 11 or a 10. I can't remember. This is 11 or 10. It's not marked, but I checked it before I did it. I think it's a 10. Because my gauge was way too big for originally, and now this is still a little bit bigger than the gauge that she recommends, but that's okay because I wanted a little bit more ease in it. It's turning out really cute so far. I mean, I love the yarn. I love what it's going to look like. I will tell you though, if you go to get this pattern, I'll link it in the show notes. It's not written real well. I mean, it's not written the way we would write it, because like this section I'm working on, it's just the bottom part right here, from the bottom to the armhole. It basically says, single crochet and however many stitches. There's a video that kind of shows how to crochet. And then she says to crochet 20, or in my case, it'll be 19 rows. And then she gives you an image of, for the large size, she did a 64 stitches by 21 rows. She doesn't tell you how big that should be. And she's telling you to measure it against the jacket of the child. Well, if I'm going to keep this a secret, I don't have a jacket to look at. So that's what's happening there. So just so you know, it's really interesting the way it's written. She also doesn't give you, I mean, she does give you some charts with the number of rows and things like that. But she doesn't give you the, well, I guess there are inches if you go by each square being an inch. So roughly for the small size, it should be 20 inches. For the medium size, it should be 22 inches high before you start the armholes, which is pretty much, okay, so I didn't read far enough, I guess. So that's my bad that I didn't do that the way I should have. But for me, it's kind of written interestingly. There's a lot of commentary in there. She's got videos, which are great. The videos are great. But it's not the way I would write a pattern. So anyway, it's really fun. I will be showing it to you as I go along. I have to get this done before the surgery. So, because Christmas I will be incapacitated. So probably. So that's just what's going on there. So those are for my projects lately. I do have a couple other projects behind the scenes that I'm working on that are nothing I can show you quite yet. I'm working on a class for some people who've been in my Stitch of the Month blanket. I'm working on the videos for that. I'm trying to get all of them done completely this week so that I don't have to worry about them anymore, because there's 2 more videos that drop. One drops on Friday, November 1st, and one drops on Sunday, December 1st. So those are coming, but there's some other things coming behind the scenes that I can work on while I am incapacitated, and you'll learn more about those as the months go along. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, there's only one thing that has come into the shop or into the studio. This is from the Fiber Seed. It's her Sprout sock in the colorway Monet Sunrise. It's her October colorway. And if you know me, you know I love Monet in all ways and shapes and forms. And this just spoke to me. I'm not usually a more orangey person with the fall colors and stuff, but this just spoke to me. Her Sprout sock is, let's see. It's 90% merino wool, 10% nylon. Again, it's her colorway Monet Sunrise. There's 510 yards in 4.8 ounces in one of her hanks. So you get a lot of yardage for the price. And I love her yarns. If you have my books, I'm trying to think now. Coastal Crochet, A Garden of Shawls. Both of those have her yarns in it. I'm trying to remember if Modern Italian has. I'm not 100% sure Modern Italian Lace Crochet right now has her yarns, but I love her yarns. I have for a long time, so this is really exciting to get in the studio. Other than that, there's really not much else going on. I did want to ask a question though. I feel like I've been all over the place with this video, and that's because I really need to get recording some other stuff, but I promised my podcast listeners that I'd get something up today. But because I'm having surgery, and I won't be able to do as much as I thought I was going, that I thought I was going to do before the end of the year, I'm going to be doing a lot of reading because I can't sit and not do anything and just sleep all the time. Usually what happens when I have surgeries, and I've had several, I read for a while, fall asleep reading, read for a while, fall asleep reading, that kind of thing. So I know the first few days at least, and I'm probably throughout the first 2 months of recovery, I'm going to be reading a lot. So I am looking for some new authors to read. I love a cozy romance as long as there's not a lot of sex in it. I like thrillers, murder mysteries kind of things, not true crime type of stuff, but I love if you follow Sandra Brown, she's one of my favorite authors. She does some really good thrillers. Nora Roberts can do some really good thrillers too. I love Barbara Freethy. If you know Barbara Freethy, she does romance, cozy romances, and she just started a thriller series that I absolutely love. In fact, I am one of her advanced reading teams, so I always get her books ahead of time so I can read and review them. She's a great author. I love J.A. Jance. If you don't know her, she's a murder mystery kind of thing. It's a mystery series. She does the J.P. Belmonts. She's got one based in Seattle. She's got one series that's based, or two that are based in Arizona. And she's got a third one, and I can't think of, or the fourth one, and I cannot remember right now off the top because I haven't read any of those books in that series in a while. So, but the three I love J.A. Jance. So she's amazing. I love Nora Roberts too. I'm just not into her like fairies and witches and all that stuff. I like her thrillers. I don't really read Nora Rob, so, but if you have anything along those lines, I would love to hear about an author that is along those lines that I can look up and maybe grab a couple books from the library. I'm going to be reading other things too. I read my Bible every day. I read, religious Catholic books along the way too. But I need something besides all those, because sometimes you just need something that's fluff you don't have to think about and pray about and all of that, just to kind of fill in between. So if you've got some recommendations, post them in the comments or send me an email at hello@KarenWhooley.com. So that's it, guys. I didn't go through the comments this week just because it's been so long since I've podcasted, but I wanted to make sure that I did touch base with you guys, hoping to do this more often, especially after surgery, just to get on and say hello. The other thing I'm thinking about doing too during the recovery is going live on Instagram for like 20-30 minutes every day or every other day. So if you're interested in that, make sure you're following me on Instagram. I'm at Karen Whooley Designs on Instagram. So it's a lot easier to just go live there and just talk for a few minutes and answer questions or bring people on or something like that. So if you would like me to do that, make sure you're following me. Otherwise, I will see you next time, hopefully sooner than later, especially since I probably won't be, it'll be at least a couple weeks before I have surgery, and this week is a busy one. So I'm hoping next week I will be able to record as normal. So anyway, have a great week. Love you all. God bless you all, and I will see you next time. Bye now.